Hey everybody, on this video I will give an update of what I've been working on the uptime development for my upcoming travel to Thailand. I will share what I've been working on, what I learned from what went good and what didn't well so good, and what I'm focusing building on the upcoming week. It will be similar to a stand-up but a little bit more extensive, so let's start. Quick reminder of what I'm building is adapt to share expenses with other people and rebalance the amount to pay to an equal amount for each member. So this week I was working from my hometown and I have to say I enjoyed this week a lot. Since all I did I was eat well, enjoy the nice weather, work from home and spend some quality time with my father. This mix of things helped me gain some clarity on my upcoming steps as a person and as a software developer. And I will happily share with you guys when the time comes. But let's get down to the updates. What I work on. In summary, the things that I advanced were: we now have a very basic but functional frontend. We can log via Ethereum address or email thanks to Privy. We have the contract and backend interactions with the frontend, all using VM. The new users that are invited to a session can create their user automatically and join the session. The status for the session is updated once every member has joined. And I also did minor adjustments using slint and committeesend in the pre-commit hooks. I believe it's a solid advance. We got past half of the heavy lifting in every function, and now we have a good solid basis to keep building on this. And we just need to go through expenses and checkout, and we will have a complete flow. Now what I learned. I want to share the three main things that I learned so far from building this. The first thing is that I need to spend more time in the architecture and the UX design before starting code. I noticed this when I was doing front-end connection to the smart contract, and I was passing the session ID from the front end to the smart contract, and then I noticed that it would be better to pass it backwards from the smart contract to the front end and then to the back. This fix wasn't very difficult to solve, but it was a no-brainer once I realized what I was doing. And secondly, I spent too much time thinking where to put every button and everything on the UX. Since I didn't design the very basic mockup, I struggled with this, but I solved it by doing just the very basic functionality and left the rest of the CSS to when the time comes at the end of the project, once everything is working. The second thing I learned is that there can be many distractions where you're building something. I struggle to keep my work consistent. By this I mean I was thinking, as I was working on a specific task, about what I can do better and how can I do better even before I finish that task. So I tried to solve this by put those thoughts on upcoming tickets as I was working, and in the code design I built some tickets from time to time to refactor the code that I was building and keep it like straight, very forward. So I just respect like good practices, good naming, building reusable components, and keeping the code short and legible without obsessing over it. I think this was the hardest part for me, but I try to keep focusing on working like in a 80-20% effort, achieving an 80% result, so just keep an agile pace for this thing. The third thing I learned was organization is everything. It helped me more than I thought from the beginning to have a place when everything is organized, and mostly to write clear tickets with a clear scope. At the beginning of the day I just choose some specific tasks that I need to work on this day, and that was all the work that I need to be done. Writing the advances and move tickets even helped me with summarize for this video, but mostly it helped me to keep me motivated with the advances. Later I noticed that this realization wasn't really from coding and project related. Like good fundamentals, good organization, and having patience and a clear path are the low-level resolution from this experience at the moment, but these are more transcendental than coding. So let's keep moving on. What I'm going to work on this week. So we're just missing just two key parts on this process. As we can now create a session with the users, we just need to add possibility to add expenses to that session and then have a checkout and a rebalance. As this happened, the smart contract handled the rebalance to each member. So I'm focusing on these features for this week. Once this is ready, I will be able to put some CSS on top of it and get ready for some testing with my friends and have everything ready for the upcoming travel. Just before closing, I would like to add two recommendations that came to my mind as I was building this. Both of these recommendations came from two devs that I respect a lot. One is the book Clean Code. This is a large book, but it's very helpful since it helped me to understand the very basic principles of how to build better code. And the next recommendation is more practical. Is the book Make from Pieter's Levels. Like that most of his work is very practical and straightforward for everything what is done. So now in closing, I'm moving back to Puebla for the rest of the month, and thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful.